What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another update here on the Sergeant Tank YouTube channel. My name is Jeremy. Of course, I'm behind the camera. I'm actually utilizing my smartphone, but I will come on camera here in just a moment. I wanted to bring you guys a hands-on perspective with regard to preparation and so forth when you're transporting livestock, plants, that type of thing. So, what we're going to do is I'll step over here. What you're looking at right now is just the area that I have devised specifically for livestock. And I'll kind of walk through some of those things. Keep in mind, you guys, that once I get out of camera view, I will have to come, or once I get into camera view, I'm sorry, I will have to come back out in order to see your guys' chat. I don't have a laptop or anything here with me or any other device in order to monitor the chat. So please do keep that in mind. Before we get started, I am on the opposite side here, the shotgun mic, so the sound will amplify here, and I will also amplify the lighting. Let me know right now before I move while I'm seeing chat. If you can give me a thumbs up, let me know right now how sound is. Keep in mind, sound will be better once I get on the front side of the shotgun mic. Can you give me a thumbs up now as far as overall video? Matt, it's nice seeing you, buddy. All right. So I will periodically check you guys. Give me just a minute here. Yeah, let's see if we can kick the lighting up a little bit. I will periodically check the chat to make sure, because I know that people are going to be bombarding me with notifications if things, and that, let me take care of that real quick so we don't have issues with notifications. I think I silenced my phone. SC Fish Keeping, how you doing? It's nice meeting you today. If that vibrated on your end, I apologize about that. I should have did this beforehand. You would think after about 400 live streams that I would have done that, but all right. So are we looking good? A few shout outs here before I get going. We got Matt's Monster Fish. It was nice seeing you today. Same with SC Fish Keeping. We got Jamie McDonald, Brandon Maple Street Aquatics, Frank Dominguez. We got Annie in the house. So, all right. All right, so I think we should be all right. So basically what you're seeing here, besides water all over me, is these are just breeder box systems right here, just your standard hang-on breeder box. These are actually not the Marineland. These are actually from Big Al's Pets, which is out of it's a Canada-based business. So me personally, I actually enjoy this specific model of hang-on breeder box over the other ones. Not that the other ones are bad by any means, but it's just my personal preference. So a little bit bigger, same concept and so forth. But here we just have some Sagittaria along with some Livebearers. Picked up some yellow rock Trabensis, and I got some rainbow fish back there, and then not too much so far I've obtained from yesterday and today. So again, this is the Ohio Cichlid Association Extravaganza. This is our 24th year. So we're about 5.5 hours northwest of here, up in the Michigan area is where I reside. So if anybody is new to the channel or watching this in the replay, again, I thank you guys very much for your support. I'm just a hobbyist. Yeah, I might have a big fish room, I might do a lot of breeding projects, but that doesn't take away the fact that I am still a hobbyist at heart. So I enjoy, as you can see, even though that I have a logo and that we have a website, I'm not going around. That's just not my style. So that's why I just, you know, dress the way that I do. And I just enjoy showing up to these type of events without having any type of agenda that goes behind it other than just hanging out with other fish enthusiasts. So I've already started some preparation. So here I got a styro container, and if you guys are new to the channel or haven't checked it out, I've done several tutorials with regard to shipping. I personally have been shipping for 10 years, a little bit more with regard to livestock, and many different methods that I've implemented that have worked over the years, and I've gotten to a point where I'm very comfortable with doing it. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in that aspect of it, but if anybody has been following this channel for any period of time, you'll know I do practice what I preach. So I put everything through a detoxing phase for the most part. So obviously these are fish that I've obtained from today and yesterday. So if they haven't been detoxed besides the time that they've been in my care, that's on the individual for which is providing those. So my recommendation is when you're going to a convention, if you're going to a swap meet, is do the same practice and protocol that you would do when you implement with regard to actually shipping of the livestock. It's going to be a lot better for the livestock in the long term and even in the short term, not only for you as a hobbyist, but for those individuals that are actually obtaining the specimens or whatever it is that you're offering. And it will just, you know, detoxify everything from that point of view as well. So just as a quick recap, I do have in this bag here, I'm just utilizing things on the fly. So what you see here is what I show up with, and then I utilize things that I can utilize in order to kind of go into MacGyver mode. So since I didn't have a bucket, because I don't want to carry unnecessary stuff if I don't need to. So I just utilize this trash container, and then it's lined with a fish bag on the inside. That entire bag on the inside fills up this entire trash container, and it holds all the way up to this point where the rim is at. It holds dechlorinated water. So I did that this morning, went ahead and detoxified the water or dechlorinated the water and took out any impurities and so forth that may cause some toxicity issues depending on if they have chlorines or chloramines in the water, utilizing safe. You can utilize prime or any type of dechlorinate. If you're utilizing tap water, that's fine. So the same practice that you would do when you're doing a water change at home. And then I'll go ahead and add Purigen into each one of these bags. So you're not going to be able to see here down probably at the floor based on the camera angle. But what I have here in this cooler, we have lots of coolers, you know, most of us do that have been in the hobby, if you're obtaining fish or whatever the case might be. There's 4 holes on top here. So what that will do is that allows for the appropriate oxygen exchange when I utilize heat packs. So I will be bagging up things here this evening. I'm doing a little bit sooner, even though it's still pretty late here, being Eastern Standard Time. So I want to say it's a little after 11 o'clock, maybe like 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I was going to wait a little bit more, but I thought, hey, why not? I haven't been on here in a bit to do any type of how-to or walkthrough, and my main thing is to try to educate and bring some type of insight and inspiration to you guys. So what I'll be doing is going through, we just have some, we got some cherry barbs in here, and then I also have some veil tail, which is just a fancy way of saying your long fin variety. But the appropriate way to say it, if you wanted to, would be the veil tail cherry barbs. And then I also have some pencil fish in here. We got some black emperor tetras, which I've already bred those. I just end up losing my breeding group. I shared that sometime back here on the channel. I don't remember when. I do have some offspring with those at home, but you know, it's a specimen that I enjoy to breed. They're not too difficult to breed with that regard. Then I have the Cetacranus casereus, which is it's a pair, and they legitimately will actually do better as a juvenile state rather than once they get to an adult stage. And if you guys have been following me, you will know that I've bred quite a few of the Cetacranus urbanii. However, once they get to a certain stage of development in their life cycle, they basically will just refuse or almost become stagnant with regard to breeding. And then in the back box, which you won't be able to see, like I said, I'm not going to move this. I have some funnel pen checks with a collection point, some gardener eyes. So that pretty much is it. May surprise some, since, yeah, I'm usually one that obtains more. There is a big auction tomorrow. I don't, basically the way an auction goes is, and I have a lot of tutorials and explanation with regard to auctions and the importance of clubs and how clubs can support local mom and pop shops or your local fish stores and vice versa. So they need to play hand in that role without getting the impression that clubs are hurting local fish stores or vice versa. I think if things are played out in the appropriate manner, that's what's I feel anyways as a hobbyist. I can't speak on behalf of the owners of those localities in our demographic, but what I can say is I feel that it's been a very sustainable long-term relationship that coexists like in unison and in harmony with us as hobbyists, with the club, and those with the local fish stores. So I just kind of wanted to put that there because I've kind of heard even couple of things off and on over the last couple of days from individuals, that, I just, the mindset needs to get in the right place because first and foremost, local fish stores many years back, decades ago, was a lot of the implementation in certain areas to better us as hobbyists to obtain and provide more lineage and more availability and more research and identification, while a lot of different things that we keep now today in the hobby. As most of you guys know, I really have been involved for many years in the hobby and have been consistently involved for almost 14 years without really taking much of any hiatus at all. So I guess I will congratulate myself and give myself a pat on the back. It means more to me without tooting my own horn, because a lot of people do get out of the hobby. And the reason I'm kind of sharing this stuff with you guys is this is what keeps me driving forward. It's things like this that I encourage you guys to do. It's a 5.5-hour trip, basically from where I'm located. And as you guys may or may not be aware, I deal a lot with neuropathic issues because of my disability. And this still, I try to make time to get out and be a part of the community in that way, and to branch out and still stay engaged even with that. And I encourage you guys to do the same. I heard over this weekend as well from talking with individuals that unfortunately they don't have some of that availability when it comes to having a club or even local fish stores. I mean, back when I started in the hobby many years ago, it was right around 1990 when I first was introduced to the hobby by my uncle that provided me I want to say it was a 29-gallon community with some angelfish and so forth. There really wasn't much back then in our area, or even within 50, 60 plus miles radius of our where I grew up in my hometown. It was like Kmart and Meijer, where like you go to your Kmart, you would get yourself a sunrise breakfast for whatever price it was in the eatery, and then you would go ahead and find your pet over in the pet department. Yes, it's odd. We're fortunate enough now to have more availability with local fish stores. And again, this is the 24th year with the Ohio Cichlid Association Extravaganza. Again, that is a phenomenal turnout. There's great speakers. I can't say enough positive things about it. So again, definitely give a congratulations to everybody in the staff that facilitated and oriented to put this event together as they do each and every year. So definitely is an awesome thing. It's a great turnout, I feel anyways, personally. And I would imagine that they feel the same. Again, it is not over. There's still a lot of, there's a hospitality suite, you know, as you can see, you obtain the badge, as you do in most conventions and that type of thing. And there's basically from the bottom floor, so floor 1 all the way up to the 6th floor, there's room sales. And basically they're kind of dispersed throughout because some people come in at late notice, so it's kind of hard to get everybody on one floor. I'm on the 2nd floor myself, and again, the hospitality suite's just off the adjacent to the lobby. That's where they have the vendor in the showroom and the auction and that, which will be tomorrow. They wrapped up with awards this evening, and they do like a little dry goods auction, stuff that was donated from various suppliers. But yeah, so before we move any further, I'm going to go ahead again. I apologize. I know it's a little odd, but I do have to unfortunately step out of camera view in order to see the chat since I am utilizing my smartphone. So hopefully lighting is decent. Hopefully the audio is okay. It should be okay. I'm actually testing this shotgun mic, so it should be okay. I've only used this now twice, so hopefully the audio is projecting enough to obtain my voice. All right. We got Jimmy in the house. How you doing, buddy? So, looks like everything is good. We got Evan in the house. How you doing, IFG? 54 Punchy, hello. Let's see here. I will get to you guys' questions, I promise. Just give me a few minutes so I don't get too sidetracked here. We got Joel Gillett. We got Fitch Tropic. Let's see. Yeah, all right, so audio, video is okay. Lighting is, I'm using an LED light. It's actually part of an entire rig system. So yeah, does pretty good with this rig system, my phone. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. Yeah, right? I know, right? The Keurig. This is a Keurig, what Fish Tropic is talking about, the cheap. So I wouldn't say Keurigs are cheap, but if you guys remember my old school live streams like a couple of years ago, I used to have a Keurig right on the desk. So give me a thumbs up, give me a hashtag coffee addict or something. So when I'm looking at this later on, and check out your guys' chat and comments, then I'll know. Even if you're watching this in the replay, let me know down in the comment section if you guys, I want to know how long you've been around. And even, yes, I'm talking to you, some of you lurkers out there that never want to say anything in the chat. So I encourage you guys to just say hi. You don't have to be putting out video to say hi. That's not what it's about. So just some of us weirdos that enjoy putting out content on YouTube, and I'm only teasing. You know, of course, all of us as content creators, our hope is to really show the passion, the drive, and whatever it is. Of course, this being more of a educational type niche, you know, it is my hope that, you know, you can take something away from it. So I've had some great conversations, and if you guys want to, I definitely encourage you to check it out. Again, I will at some point later on, once I get home, add all of the information. I could essentially, if I have time to do it, I will add some of the stuff down in the description for you guys. So just bear with me. But check out the Grand Valley Aquarium Club. There's an article that went out. It may or may not yet be on the website. so you guys can check it out. But specifically talking about and breakdown of the Eurasius ware. So I did a very elaborative, in-depth, to the point, direct, which is better in my opinion than I have several thousand views right here on the YouTube channel with the Daisy Blue Rice Fish and the spawning techniques that I've found that have worked. But since I've done that video last year, there's other methods that I've incorporated as I do certain controlled tests. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, I do see it steadily growing. So again, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for that continued support. And however you guys are finding out, if it's through another channel, if it's through suggested, if it's through whatever method it is that pops up, it could be through an external search engine or something like that. Let me know. I always enjoy knowing where individuals are coming from. Yes, analytics tell us a lot, but again, it's just I enjoy to have a little bit more of that connection with you guys. And if it is from another content creator where you found out from us, then I want to make sure that that credit is given as well. So let's get to this. Like I said, I already have some bags going here. Since I'm not too concerned, I can tell right now from monitoring these guys for over about 36 hours now, that as far as any defecation or any type of secretion at all, I don't have to worry about it too much. So I'm going to go ahead. I would typically, if I was shipping these, let's say, I would actually individually bag, believe it or not. Anybody that's obtained fish from us, yes, even something that's an inch and a half, I would individually bag. Just in the unfortunate event, if anything ever was delayed, if anything ever happened, that type of stuff, I don't have to worry about those ammonia spikes and that from decaying matter that's happening within that fish bag. So I will, since I'm monitoring these guys, and if I need to react to it on the fly, obviously I have what I need. I have the extra water, so even in transport, I can go ahead and do the appropriate necessary things. So just to save a little bit, yes, on time, money with bags, that type of stuff, I will be just grouping these guys together. Now, if you are dealing with certain cichlids or something like that, like the Cassarius or the Stedocranus back here, between the male and female, just due to some of those aggression issues, they'll still be able to see each other, so they can still maintain the line of sight contact, so I don't have a line of sight breakage, because there is certain specimens of fish, and I've talked about this before, specifically like with some of your pelvic chroma species, is where they do obtain pair bonding, rather than being like harem spawners or more of a polygamous type relationship, where basically, you know, the male is doing his thing, I don't really know how to say it, without being too blunt, you guys understand. So a lot of these fish, once they develop those bonds, then they'll generally stick together. So what I mean by line of sight breakage, yes, if I was now shipping these guys, yes, there would be essentially a barrier. And there will be a slight barrier between, so I don't have any condensation or expansion and contraction issues. So again, I treat everything like a little science project. I know to some this is completely boring as all get up, but this is just what needs to be done. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, that's just honestly, a lot of times things can be really prevented if a little bit more time goes into it. You know, I'm not trying to bash on certain individuals, but especially I got such a passion with like shipping and the care. It's always a mission of mine to make sure everything shows up in great condition. Now, if you're dealing with a fish or whatever it might be, whatever that specimen might be, especially if you're showing fish, there's way more that goes into it, because the slightest issue that can happen in transit, unfortunately, usually when it ends up happening, you can do everything 6 months, a year in advance, getting that fish prepped for show. And if something goes wrong in transit, you're going to be beating yourself up over it, because just the smallest minuscule thing that could happen could ruin it for you between winning or not. And obviously most people that put their fish in the show came to win. Some of these here are actually for somebody else. I'm just being a nice guy and obtained them and gonna bring back home. And yeah, we got some Sagittarian here, which is also going to be going to another individual. And then, like I said, the rest of the stuff that I have. So not too much. Again, it is not. I need to reiterate that. So if you guys are watching this and you are in or around the Ohio area, one of the largest auctions that would be taking place, I would imagine will be tomorrow. So again, I want to say it's 9 a.m. Is registration. So if you want to sell whatever it is, obviously it should be an open public auction, as most auctions are, to where you don't have to be a paid member. But again, you can just go to the Ohio Cichlid Association website and check it out, and all the information will be in there for you guys. So I've done a couple of videos leading up to this, and I should have all the links in that in there as well if you guys want to check those out. So the first thing that we're going to do is take out these cherry barbs. And like I said, I already have a bag down here that has already been brought to room temperature. It's already been dechlorinated. Like I said, first thing this morning, so it's been sitting here. It's already balanced. And again, the water that's in here is consistent. Besides any secretion, I don't see much as far as defecation. So that tells me that the individuals that obtain these specimens from, they've been, detoxed. So, and that's what I enjoy to see. I mean, as far as their overall health and their temperament, it's normal for these type of barbs. I mean, they're showing the right coloration, they're showing the right finish. They don't have any clamp gill plates. They don't have anything that I see as far as beyond irritation that they're in this small, container. And then I just brought one net. Again, I would typically, instead of worrying about, or to worry about cross-contamination, the one thing I did not bring that I forgot to was like a distilled white vinegar. So again, if you guys have been following me for any period of time, you'll know that I utilize just white distilled vinegar in order to sanitize not only nets but equipment. And then I just let them dry out with net up. Some people put them in dips, like a malachite green. Some people use bleach, but me personally, I find that a good natural solution to utilize, where it would have, in the event if there's any type of residual, it would have limited to no effects on the ecosystem. But if you're drying them out, and I've gone right through spraying and dipped it right in the tank, no ill will at all. So the limited amount of residual, as long as you shook it off or took a towel and dried it off, you wouldn't have any issues there. So let's go ahead and get these guys out here. Like I said, these are, ideally if I would have brought a little bit smaller net, what I would have done is just put it in there, scoop them up and put it out. You could ideally take it and dump it, but what I'm going to have to do is actually mix the barbs, and you guys can't really see, and I don't want to mess around with the camera if we got a good thing going, but there is some pencil fish in here as well. But I'll just make sure when I net these guys that I don't obtain any of the pencil fish. So I got 3 males and 3 females. They're very easy to identify the sexes between the two. The males will always be a brighter, more pronounced, versus the females. As you can see, right there. All right. And then this just takes time to get used to, but I literally have done thousands of bags at this point. The main thing is just that. And then typically I just slowly twist. And then again, it is a pet peeve of mine. I know any of you guys that work at a local fish store, don't hate me for it. I'm not hating on you. It's mutual respect. I just personally do one little twist instead of twisting and banging the fish around for whatever unnecessary reason. I get it. I know once they leave my care and when I'm shipping, I get it. It's just, I don't know. I'm a little anal, I guess. But if I can avoid that one situation in my mind, then that's what I do. So basically, as you can see, I just twisted it by hand, slow, and then I just keep it in spot, and I just utilize my fingers to continue twisting it. And the main thing is when you get a good knot, is what I like to do is get down at the base as much as I can, and then basically do a pull, and then I'm not gonna bore you guys with double bagging, but these guys will be double bagged before I leave. And then when I ship these, it's very similar, but basically it would be inverted, same thing. So when you double bag, you would invert the bag, and then I would go ahead and actually tape it off on the outer bag that I use. And what the tape does is actually maintains the overall pressure. So if you guys have ever done this, it's kind of hard to explain without actually doing this hands-on. And you have to do quite a few. It might take you 100, it might take you 200 until you get it. But basically you want to have, with fish bags, nothing drives me more crazy than this exact situation where it's just too, it's okay, but that's going to deplete. So let's say I was prepping this bag for auction, and typically wood auctions is actually basic standard, is you want a double bag. It's actually probably one of the items in there in, as far as the appropriate requirement. But I couldn't tell you, you know, there's times and occasions, unfortunately, when individuals are bringing things to an auction. These are going home with me, so I'm kind of jumping all around here. It's been a long weekend. But yeah, so let's say I was putting these into auction, then they would be double bagged, and then just, you don't have to go all the way around with the tape. The tape would basically just reinforce and then maintain the air within the bag, if that makes sense. So again, you don't have to go crazy with the tape. The tape is just acting more as a reinforcement, is maybe a better way to look at it. So I plan to do at some point next year more elaborative, in-depth tutorials with breeding. Not only but with breeding, but also with tutorials to tie in with that when it comes with shipping. And even when you're dealing with some hypancistrus or other type of catfish, and even some corridoras, if the barbels or anything sharp that may protrude, there's a method that I've implemented that works out quite well. But again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. It's not going to make much sense in me trying to explain it. It'll be much easier to actually show you guys. So let's move on here. Let's grab the pencil fish. So again, I got three males and 3 females. Pretty similar with the males and females on these guys. When it comes to identifying the sex, it's kind of difficult to tell here. These I actually picked up at Something Fishy, which I was excited about. So these ones here I didn't get from the hotel through room sales. And again, I cannot see the chat, you guys, so if you are asking questions, I will get to them. You're just going to have to be patient and bear with me. And we did a video earlier today, if you guys want to check it out. This is actually 2 live streams technically today. It was about a half hour with Dave Hale from Something Fishy Incorporated. It's always a store that I recommend. I was actually introduced to that store and to Dave from Jimmy Swisky last year. So. And if I wasn't doing this, I would have already been done and this all would have been bagged up. So I'm just saying it does not take as long. It's just different because I'm trying to explain and walk through. So I am going to be walking out of camera view here in just a second, so bear with me. I'm going to plug my phone in. I'm going to try to, without messing up the live stream. We got KG in the house. How you doing, buddy? So somebody asked, yeah, way in the camera now, to bring it back old school, to legit set up a tripod. It was actually Dank Tanks, so definitely check out Dank Tanks. He did a tutorial on talking about poison dart frogs. If you guys are into that, that was quite a few months back here on the channel. So if you just search my video repertoire, you can check it out. But anyway, told me the other day to bring it back old school and set up a tripod and kind of do it the way I used to do it in the fish room. So I figured, not in the fish room. I'm in my make-believe fish room temporarily until tomorrow. So that's why I'm going through bagging up everything now, so I don't have to worry about doing that in the morning. So I'm gonna grab a towel real quick and then I'll be right back with you guys. Rack is wondering if I have any. I don't yet. Dank Tanks is want me to get into it. I do have a very nice terrarium, but it's actually a vivarium, but it's in our storage. I just don't have the space to set it up. All right. So Amy Confetti's going to be turning their 90 into a dart frog tank. Nice. All right. But no, I got a huge vivarium. It's a 40, no, not 40, it's 36 inch by 24 inch by 18 inch, I believe. In the process, that's what's nice about styros is if I happen to dump water in the styro, I can just simply take the styro and dump it out. Alright, so last thing what we have here, we have the veil tail. These guys do jump, most fish do. I'm surprised when people think that only certain species, just about every fish I've ever had in my care, whether if it's a Livebearer, it's a cyprinid, kerosene, rainbow fish, killifish, whatever it is, a family of fish. I've had one situation where they try to abort, so it's just part of the game. And then this one needs just a little bit more water. Like I said, if anybody's just popping in here, you're gonna have to go back and listen to it from the beginning if you want to know a little bit more as far as the process. One thing I'm good at doing is keeping fish alive. That's one thing that I can do. I can keep fish alive, and I can keep them alive and sustainable for long periods of time. It's one thing that I just have been always good at doing. Usually if I ever have an issue with fish, and loss of life with fish, it's due to the fact that they end up jumping out. That's just about the easiest way I can put it. I've treated just about every disease. And I have lots of video content with regard to disease, appropriate dietary confusion, dietary requirements, skip feeding, and that type of stuff. So like I said, if you're just popping in here now, I do very in-depth, but yet to the point. And when I say in-depth, it's just an article, but it's directed to the point. Because I see a lot of articles, and again, I'm not knocking specifically on articles. A lot of the information is, you want to have basically on the body of the story, to me, if I'm going to be somebody, and I don't actually enjoy the read. I just don't. I get bored of it quickly. And what I try to look at when I was creating the article is, through the process in my mind, as somebody who's going to absorb the information, where it's not nearly as detailed as the information that I put on a video, but yet it's there enough in order for people to hopefully be able to take that information and basically go step by step by step by step. I've seen a lot of articles where the body of the story is basically all compacted into one, where maybe it's just because of narrative writing, because of my background, I'm not sure. I mean, doing investigation work, I literally have written thousands of narratives, which is a whole different ballgame. Maybe that's what it is. I've always enjoyed journalism growing up, and writing music and that type of stuff, but I don't know. So again, another little side rant, but if you guys want to check it out, it's on the Daisy's Blue Rice Fish at the Grand Valley Aquarium Club, which of course is my local club in the Grand Rapids, Michigan market. Can't say enough good things about it, along with most other clubs out there. So if you guys want to check it out, I did get an email notification that was put out in the newsletter through the email, so it should eventually be there on the website. And I would encourage you guys to check it out. There's some other great articles in there as well. It's not just from me. And that is one of the requirements, as I've talked to you guys about before, when it comes to breeding through the Breeders Award program. That's one of the requirements that you have to do in order to obtain any type of reward at the end of the year, which would be next month. So we do our awards in December, so last time that you can put anything in for that is the month of November of each year. Alright, so before we move on here, if you guys have any questions for me, then let me know. I'm going to pop over there in just a second and take a look and see if you guys have any questions. So again, I'm just utilizing things that are available. Obviously, water isn't making contact with the trash can itself, and it's not going to do any damage to the trash can. The amount of water volume in here is plenty good enough for how rigid that trash can is. If you really want me to nerd out, again, I think maybe that's why people get a kick out of me. I literally have dabbled into just about every single area. It's just one of those things. When you engage into a conversation with somebody, and I don't know, it's just like anything but sports I can talk about. That's probably the easiest thing I can put it. So anything other than sports. Obviously, I was a big MMA type of guy, you know, big into martial arts. So, and I guess billiards. I used to do a lot of pool and bowling when I was younger, but other than that, yeah, so this is like my sport, but anyway, my point to that was, if I looked at the bottom, I could actually probably tell you what type of plastic that is. So anyway, yeah, I took just about every course that you can imagine with anything trades related, just growing up around it in the high school or the school system that I grew up in. We even had a foundry, so we heated up aluminum at roughly 2,000 degrees in order to make die cast out of it. That just tells you I grew up in a you know, that type of school. I don't know too many other schools that had a foundry in their building, but yeah. So all right. If you're talking about the Celebes half beaks, I don't have any of those available currently. And no, I didn't check. I didn't check the bed sheets. So, all right, let's keep going here. I'll keep periodically checking. The chat's only let me scroll up so far, so I'm sorry, you guys. I don't want to mess around too much. We got a good thing going. I don't see any complaints as far as audio or video. I'm not sure why my light. I think I need to put a new battery in that light. Anyways, it's a rigged system, and I got a shotgun mic on top of that, and then I have an LED light. It actually technically holds two LED lights on the top, and I find that those actually work really well if you put your smartphone right up against the tank glass, and then you can kind of almost, you point it and then you find the right pivot point, and then you adjust the lighting, and then it can focus in pretty good. So if that made any sense at all, probably not. I'm not a guru when it comes to fish photography or anything like that. I'm trying to get more involved in it. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of a surprise for you guys at some point here in the future, and go a little bit more into detail on fish photography. So I don't want to give it away. Just put it that way. So I'm excited about that because I'm trying to learn more about it myself. All right. And in that article, I was kind of proud of myself. I mean, I've seen other articles with, I keep going up and down, you guys, because I'm not sure where the, anyway. So Yeah, in the article I took three, it didn't take me long at all, and I used this setup right here to get the pictures I needed to put in the article for the Daisy Blue Rice Fish, and it turned out, in my opinion, pretty decent. Just based on, you know, what I have available. It's not like I have a, you know, $5,000 or $6,000 camera setup. I mean, you're talking a Samsung Galaxy, this is an S6 Edge, and then roughly $35–40 in the rig system and the LED lights, so not too bad. So I'm going to dump the water out, just keep moving along here. I'm actually just going to take the fish. Work smarter, not harder. So these guys aren't going to show coloration. I can show you here in a minute once I get them in the bag. These are the black emperor tetra, the different species, rather than your normal emperor tetras. And again, they're not too difficult to breed. But yeah, they're super sharp. I've shown them in old videos before. And the one thing I forgot I wasn't putting in here. See, this is where you guys gotta remind me. So again, just using Purigen. And I talked about this before. I actually forgot my Purigen at home, but I found a really good deal on it here through one of the vendors. So I got it, I don't know, probably $5–10 cheaper. I picked up a bunch of heat packs, and then realized the source I obtained them from. I was so excited about the price that I got, and then realized that they were from 2014. So again, I'm testing them out right now. Typically with heat packs, I wouldn't trust it beyond the use by date. That's why I said best buy. Other than that, I've never had an issue with unit heat packs. I've been using for years. One, I would imagine, in my experience, in my opinion, would be the most go-to with shipping is the unit heat, that manufacturer. They do phenomenally well. I've never had issues with them. So I am testing them out, and I might just turn into like a video at some point. If they happen to work, again, this is the only way I'm going to know. If, you know, 4 years old, yeah, I was so excited about it, and it was a rookie mistake at my end. I should have simply looked at the expiration date. I don't think it was a situation where it was trying to pull. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. It's just, yeah, things happen. If it comes down to it, you know, I lost, I think yeah, they were a buck a piece, if I remember it. Yeah, they're a buck a piece, and I think I got 34 or 35. So, I mean, if it came down to it, I'm out $35. Yeah, it sucks. Stuff happens. Move on. So, in the future, just keep that in mind. If you're getting heat packs, make sure you check what the best buy date is or use by date, and go from there. All right, so we're slowly working our way back here, and these next species, I'm gonna wait for these guys to kind of not be so stressed, even though they're stressed because I just moved them. But I'll show you guys here in the next 5 or 10 minutes what I've bagged up so far, so you guys can take a look. These are the Stedocranus fissarius, which is another species. I talked about the Stedocranus urbani, which is that I acquired. It's a Lawrence Ken strain, and These guys are known as a lion head. Some people do call them the buffalo head. I'm not going to nerd out and get technical, but again, a lot of times, a lot of confusion happens. You have lion head, buffalo head. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. A good go-to source is, trying to think, I think it's Seriously Fish that I'll recommend for these guys and a lot of species. Of course, for catfish, Planet Catfish is a decent source, but again, just don't believe everything that you see. Make sure that you identify and you use those, any type of hyperlinks that can be added in there within that literature, that you just do your research and you make sure whatever it is that you're obtaining. And ultimately, it really comes down to the source. Because anybody can try to sell you a product. I mean, you know, could you take a pen and sell it to somebody? I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Probably because I spent so many years in retail, it's not difficult for me. If I really wanted to push products, I know how to do it without coming off in a negative way, if that makes sense. It's all a psychological component. My point is that when you're dealing with people and you're dealing with fish, and I notice that, not here, I'm not saying that, but different situations, just be careful when you're obtaining, as you can be burned in the end. One that I see very, very commonly misclassified is the Synodontis lucipennis, which is oftentimes classified as Synodontis petricola. And the petricola is different than the Synodontis lucipennis. So you have the, between the two, yes, they do look similar from the outer appearance, and they can show a little bit different spotting and coloration, but for the most part, if you don't know what to look for, you might just go based on what they're classifying it. And then through the years, what they end up doing is calling it the dwarf petricola, another common name for the Synodontis lucipennis. However, there is some very key differences between those, and they have what's called an auxiliary port on the petricola lineage. So I'll have to do more information on that. I've read a lot of the Synodontis, the lucipennis. They're not too difficult to breed. But yeah, so at some point I do want to get back into doing tutorials on breeding. I just know it's not necessarily for everybody. A lot of people aren't nerds like me and they want to breed everything that they get. And then other people are. So, but I have to ultimately do what I enjoy putting out content-wise, and that's doing things I enjoy to do, and that's not just buying a bunch of fish and putting them in a tank. It's just been in the hobby for so many years that I just get bored with it at this point. I want to work with things. I want to learn more about the behaviors, learn more about the ichthyology behind it. I want to learn more about where they come from, more about their origins, and more about, that was redundant, more about just their overall breeding habits. Yeah, so, alright, so I'm going to take these guys, dump these guys into water. I'm going to dump the water out. As you guys can tell, I've been on about an hour of sleep in the last 72 hours, which isn't too uncommon for me. Somebody said audio. Okay, hold on just a second, you guys. Give me just a second. I know, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I know right now you can't hear me because unless you know how to read lips, you're freaking out and telling me that there's an issue with the audio. So I got to get the fish in the bags, and then I will get to your guys's, figure out what's going on with the audio. All right. Well, seriously, of course the audio is going to be down. This is a shotgun mic, you guys. Come on. So, audio good now. Give me a thumbs up. This is a unidirectional mic. Obviously, it means directional this way versus more of a dynamic style mic, or something that would be non-unidirectional, which would cover, more of a like a vocal mic or something like that. If you sing, it's going to cover more of an area. But a unidirectional mic, you can use the same concept with like if you play like an acoustic guitar, and you would use like a unidirectional mic. So yeah, when I stepped out of it, that's why the sound it seems a little bit off. But I'm not seeing anything on my end that's showing me that there should be any issues. The main thing is, let me know if there's any crackling at all in the audio. Because I noticed in replay, but I think I was using my lapel mic, and I'm going to have to junk that lapel. It's my fault. I end up getting it snagged, and the time for me to break it down, and if it needs like a little solder connection or something like that, it's not worth it for me. They're like 17 bucks. And I just don't have patience. I'm getting too old for that. Before I would have taken, it took me 30 minutes to take it apart and figure out what's going on with it, I would have done it. At this point, I'm like, screw it, I'll just buy another one. So I do need to get another one. If you guys notice that, just as a heads up, or clarifying, if you're listening to I get the buffering issues, I respect that. When I did the fish warehouse tour at Something Fishy with Dave Hale earlier today, there was some crackling. That's 100% from the lapel mic. I know that for a fact, because now I've noticed that 3 or 4 times, and that was the mic I've used each one of those times when I've noticed the crackling. It doesn't always happen, but I thought it maybe was like a issue with the internet itself, or something corresponding with between like my phone, the internet, and YouTube. Something going on there, but I'm very confident that it makes sense, because I end up snagging it, and now it does its crackling. So I want to make sure it's not coming from this mic here. So if audio has been good and it hasn't like been popping, you guys will know there's a very distinct sound with it. You'll know if it has like any crackling, popping, that type of thing. Please do let me know, because I'm going to have to, it's probably too late actually at this point. I should have tested it more earlier. But yeah, so I haven't done much video content at all. Even this weekend I did not get any video content. I'm just putting it out there. I didn't walk around at all. The only video that I've done at this point is what I'm doing now and what I did earlier. Other than that, it's not why I come to these. Plus, technically, the amount of time that goes into it by editing and that, it's just not worth it to me. There isn't much value, I feel, personally. The market is just kind of saturated in that sense anyway. Once you've kind of seen it once, that's why I personally enjoy doing these hangouts. Even though, yes, I've gone through similar things before, it's a different setting, it's a different mood. Being in a hotel room versus being in a fish room, or being like in a studio area. So it does switch it up slightly, even though I've talked about some of this stuff before, but it just kind of gives it a little bit different flavor, and it kind of is like we're all just chilling like in a family room setting, and we're just hanging out, even though it's just me talking to you guys through a camera lens, which still, I don't think I'll ever get used to that. That concept and that idea is still weird to me. That I'm looking at, the camera and I don't know, it's still just weird. So if you guys were thinking about doing video content, just know it's a little different. I mean, when you're talking to your phone or whatever it is, and then you realize, then you put it out there for everybody to see, it's still a little strange to me. Even after doing all, you know, like I've told you guys before, I know that I've had over 500 videos at one point on this, and I've only been doing YouTube, putting out content since the end of 2016. So a couple of years now, and that's a lot. That's a lot of videos. And I'm not saying that those videos were high quality. That's not at all what I'm saying. It's just once you're behind the camera and you do enough talking, you get used to it over time. Obviously, the more and repetitive and the more redundant something is, eventually you're going to get more comfortable with doing it. So the last thing that we have here is the Punalopenchex Gardnerized, another variety. Obviously, these guys are easy mop spawners. Non-annual Achilles, which I personally enjoy. Most non-annual Achilles, just due to the fact that the majority of all of them are all mop spawners anyway. But yeah, when you have to start using coconut fiber, peat moss, and then incubating those for anywhere between 4 and 8 months, no offense, I don't have the patience for it nor the time. I do plan to do it eventually someday, just not on my bucket list in the next probably 5 years. I don't plan on working with any of the non-annuals anytime soon. I want to get through a lot of these other species first that I'm enjoying working with. Like I said, 2019 is going to be more focused on some tetras, some barbs, rainbow fish, killifish, and then the typical ones I still continue to enjoy to breed. I do have different lineage of ancestors between some long-fin varieties that I'll continue to work with, but you know, just dealing with plecos in general, you know, I've bred thousands upon thousands over the years. And when you deal with something for that many years, you know, you just kind of eventually move on. You know, I don't know, I mean, just not, yes, it's in our logo, and, you know, that's not even like, it's just a vision I had. I mean, that's, oftentimes I think people get it confused, like, I'm just a pleco guy or something. You know, I'm not saying that's what people think. Obviously, if they watch my content, they'll realize that's not even the case. Because I deal with much more than plecos, and I don't even know the last time I even talked about plecos on the channel. It's been probably a year or more since I've devoted any video, year and a half, specifically with plecos. But yeah, so I got to take these guys over. Well, let's show you guys what I got so far here bagged up, and keep going. Those guys are showing pretty decent color too. All right, I'm waving my hand in front. There is a delay. Let me know. Shotgun mic is completely unplugged. Does it still sound like a lot of sound? There shouldn't be much of anything sound-wise being picked up. The only thing it's pointed towards right now is it is bubbling, which you may or may not be able to see, but I would be very surprised if that's causing that amount of noise pollution in the background. Even, yes, this does project to a certain range, but so that tells me if Jimmy is still in the building, meaning in the chat, what do you think that's caused by? This is a Movo VXR10, and it's past my return date, and that's what I was afraid of. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to test it out more without being live. I'm gonna have to test it on a couple of different devices just to rule out other things. Obviously, do some controlled test. But I hope that there wasn't a defect with this. I know for sure it's the right cord. There's two different style cords. There's one that you utilize as a non-condensing, which has different shields, rings on it. That one is, just kind of give you guys an idea. I don't think you've ever seen gear. So it's not that I have all the bells and whistles, you guys. I just honestly, just don't have much of a motivation to do much of any video content besides this at this point. But this cord would be for like a condenser style, so that would go into my video camcorder, my digital camcorder. But that kind of sucks, to be honest with you, because if there is something bad with this, I'm out like $40. But I don't know. I think I have certain individuals in a group chat that are blowing up my phone. And it should be getting any sound at all because I have all notification sounds off. You guys know who you are. I'm going to call you out. Don't make me call you out. You probably like it, like French fried potato. In a frontoche friend. Yeah, I get a little goofy when you are only on. See, you guys, if I could see chat right now, you'd be yelling at me. You didn't put Peeragin in the bag. And I still haven't even shown you guys the fish. I promise I'm not doing it intentionally. I literally have slept like maybe an hour and a half in the last 3 days. So how I live off from like an hour and a half on average each night, I don't know. That's why I laugh when people say that they don't sleep. I'm like, what is sleep? I don't know what that is. But I will show you guys. Remind me if I don't show you the fish up close. Like I said, there isn't a ton of stuff here, you guys. I don't know if I will pick up anything more tomorrow at the auction or not. But we'll see. And like I said, these are the Stedocranus cacereus, which I'm separating. Some people call them the buffalo head. I feel technically they're the lion head. I know, tomato, I get it. That's why let's just go by what the species is. It's a lot easier that way. Yeah, so. So we got the female, and she's not very happy at all. Man, just everything's, yep. My light's going out on me. I gotta put a new battery in that. It's probably not gonna show up. I gotta throw a new battery in that. Maybe I sleep, but he doesn't know. I wish I was sleeping, man. Trust me. It's been over 8 years since I've even had 6 hours of sleep straight. Do I, if I wanted to force myself into a almost like a comatose state? Yes. Am I advising to that? No. That's why people wonder why I love sedation so much. Yeah, I've been put under, I can't tell you how many times. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's like, knock me out. I don't care if it's for 10 minutes, because it, of course, feels like 3.5 hours that you're knocked out. And I still haven't heard back. You guys were wondering, I talked about that a little bit. I think that's when I had my son with me, and I was prepping. I gotta take this out because I gotta put more air in it. But with the ketamine, so I'm still waiting to hear back. There's a, things that you gotta do to make sure that that's the right approach. But I gotta check with them next week. Let's see, and I still don't even know. To be honest with you. There's people out, there's a doctor, specialist out in California that I know is quite well known and reputable, specifically with ketamine, but that's very expensive. And that's actually what's held me back through the years from doing any type of, just lost a lot of respect with medical. Just being honest. So no disrespect to anybody that works. I mean, my wife has worked. Whoa, we sprung a leak. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, you guys. This is why I personally enjoy doing live streams. Because this excitement, somebody would edit that out. I think that's funny. I think it's funny now because I caught it. It would not be funny if it happened, if it's in commute or something like that. And then for fish bags, I enjoy these collapsible. This one's foil bound on the inside to help kind of maintain, kind of like a microwave, that heat. Even though I'm using a cooler because I won't have enough room in this for what I have. Let's go bigger. Let's do bigger size. Go here. Pretty sure I know what it popped from. It's underneath the desk. I had it on the floor, and it got stuck on. There's a sharp edge on the desk. Plus, I was reusing these bags anyways for this purpose. Now, if you guys are shipping fish, don't be reusing the bags. Please, don't do that. Bags are not that expensive, especially if you order them in bulk. It's just not worth it. You know, if you need to reuse on the fly or something like that, you know, then go ahead and do it. But or for this purpose. But I mean, what I'm talking is like if you're shipping or something like that, then you know, make sure you're using a fresh bag. Stop trying to save the bags and reuse them. You know, when you get stuff like from us, just cut, you know, temperature acclimatize it, cut the bag and plop and drop. Simple as that. Bada boom, bada bang. Get rid of the bag. I mean, if somebody wants a bag that bad and they're gonna put up a fuss, not that I'm making that, but I would just rather just send. I'll just add like a bag or two with it that same size if it's that big of a deal. But so, all right. These guys here, like I said, are the Penchex Gardneri. We took a look at, I think I showed you the male. So this is the male, Stedocranus cassarius. It's got that nuchal hump. Again, pretty easy to identify between the two. Pretty cute little dude. And again, all of these guys will be double bagged. These are the veil tail. So the barbs, cherry barbs. Just another variety. Again, the coloration isn't going to be showing up. Obviously, they're pretty stressed. These guys, on the other hand, aren't looking too bad. These are your standard. These ones I got from Buddy. So Mike Drawley with Imperial Tropicals. If you guys haven't checked it out, I'm happy for them. That they're over 2,000 now subscribers, and of course Mike has been around in the industry and very well known. His family when it comes to the hobby, so definitely check him out. Done business with him quite a few years, and then it's nice to actually get to know people on more of a one-on-one basis. But that is my personal. If I was gonna order from another supplier that's just not being paid for by or endorsed by or anything like that, I'm just, as again, always being transparent with you guys. I just enjoy, first and foremost, individuals that legitimately care about the hobby, really put the standards of the hobby first, and then money second. I get it. People are like, well, you gotta pay bills and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's a wrong motive. It's a wrong mindset. That's just life in general. If you make money the focal point, I can promise you right now, it's not gonna get you anywhere. Especially in this industry. If it's just money, 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 then it takes away the whole purpose of what the hobby's all about. Because I can tell you right now, and any of us done this for any period of time can contest to that. Just not much with regard, I mean, from a profitability standpoint specifically with breeding, unless you're doing it on a very large scale. Alright, so we got the female. This is another type of cribensis. Very, very nice crib. This is your yellow rock. So one that I've been wanting to acquire. This is a breeding pair. So again, very, very similar behaviors and breeding aspect with regard to like your pelvic chromis. I've bred hundreds of the pelvic chromis, your talkers, and again, I can't see chat screen. You guys are probably yelling at me, telling me I forgot to put the peeraging in the bag. I don't know if I showed you guys. Give me a minute. Let me get this other one. Oh, here. I'm going to dump the water out, and then I'll show you guys if you're wanting to know. These are, you can obtain these just from your dollar store. But these ones are from the dollar store, or are not. These are a sterilite. They're that right there. These work great for rearing and raising. You know, I've shown these before in the past, something similar to that. When you're dealing with like killifish and other mock spawners, you're raising up or waiting for the embryos to hatch out. But basically what I do is take this concept, and what I did, these I utilize for if I'm setting stuff up in a hotel room versus having to, Lucas, so Lucas Bretz, he did a video back at the American Livebearer Association. You guys can check it out if you want to. He did a walk through that convention. I want to say he was like the only one that really did any type of elaborate video. We did a quick clip on the setup in our fish room, or a little mini fish room setup in the hotel room. So I just try to simplify it versus have to bring in huge tanks, especially for more nano species. Just more practical. And again, what I do here, just drill a hole, air line goes in. I had just mini sponge filters that I made with PVC, utilizing some seeded media. I don't think I did a video on it. Maybe I should have. I mean, if you guys are watching up to this point and you really want to know that bad, even though it's pretty self-explanatory, just cut basically the first third, or a third of it off, and then that just kind of acts as like, you know, the lid, I guess I would say. Then you don't have to worry about anything jumping out. But yeah, it's like a little mini aquarium, and they worked out really good. So, and then you can just obviously stack them in, and then you can put them like in a duffel bag or a box or whatever it is. Obviously lightweight, you don't have to worry a ton. Again, cost-wise, simplicity-wise, you know, for a weekend, why overcomplicate it? Why make it more difficult than what it has to be? I get it. Some folks, you know, with glass aquariums, I understand. Yes, you can visually see them better, that type of thing. But for the most part, when people are coming through, it's such a big crowd. People just come in. When you're a hobbyist that takes it to the level of setting up like a fish room or whatever it is, or doing this, most of the time you're pretty legit to the point where, you know, you're a hobbyist. You know, you've gone to that level where you've taken the time and the care to get things ready, to bring them to a hotel room, to set up in a hotel room, and that type of thing. But me personally, this is my to-go anytime when it comes to that. I'd rather not have to keep switching out water in bags and doing that kind of stuff. Then this way I can actually monitor them. Even if they're in here, I can still monitor them. I can look at their behavior. Obviously, they're not eating, they are being detoxed during the same time. And, but yeah, so. That one's gonna jump out. Thought I had a bag ready to go. Of course I don't. Let's see. Alright, so before I go any more, you guys enjoying this at all? Is it like on a boring scale, is it like a 25 boring? Is it like a 3? Alright, like I said, I only can scroll up so far in the chat. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hopefully you can take something away from it. If things seem a bit scattered, like I said, I'm running on basically 0 energy. Yeah, it looks like a lot of, which I appreciate. I appreciate the moderators. I appreciate everybody in chat. I always encourage that if you guys can help each other out. That's kind of the basis. It gives a platform and a way to be able to communicate with each other. So I'm just seeing more as I'm quickly scrolling through here, more inside chat. And again, that's completely fine. So far, if you guys have been hanging out with me, I mentioned that these heat packs that I obtained, which unfortunately I was excited about the deal, and yeah, I'm gonna have to very confidently say, even though I'm still remaining cautiously optimistic that something miraculously will happen, that there will be some type of miraculous chemical reaction that's going to change in the next 25 minutes, where these will actually be where they should be at this point, since I've had them sitting out for almost 3 hours now. And I'm being a bit sarcastic when I'm saying that, but basically that's $35 down the drain. You know, the first thing I did after I purchased them and brought them back is I just lack of sleep, everything. Rookie mistake, I didn't check the use by date, and they're from 2014. So, is what it is, but yeah, so make sure if you guys are getting heat packs, unit heats, whatever it is, it's not on the manufacturer. Things just go bad over time, that's the way it is. You know, I'm not upset at the individual by any means. I don't think it was an intentional act. I think it was just an honest mistake, you know, that they just had it kicking around, probably didn't think about it, had a bunch of extra on hand, and we all can take something away from it, I guess. So, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was like, I think 34, 30, I think there was 34 of them. I just brought the rest, and they're $1 a piece. And for that price, to use it myself in these situations, I mean, it works out great, you know, for shipping purposes, because I have to order them in bulk, and even at cost, I mean, that's still a good deal. But I'm gonna let them chill for a little bit, you know, obviously overnight. We'll see if anything happens. This is kind of a way, I guess, $35 to test and be able to come up with a consensus on the fact that after, you know, 4 years of technically, quote unquote, becoming no longer reliable, that they're pretty much junk. So, as you see, I just laugh things off. Honestly, I'm not bitter about it whatsoever. It's, yeah, so that to me is the least of my concern. And I dropped them out of my hand. Looking good though. I'm excited to work with these guys. And the other thing to keep in mind, if you are ever using like this type of product or Purigen, make sure that no residual moisture, anything, water gets in that, because it will kind of just cause some issues. And with Purigen, it can recharge itself in a sense. But you don't want, you know, obviously you don't want to intentionally dump water in there. It just wouldn't make any sense. But just, it sticks, and, you know, try to just be aware of it in between if you are utilizing something like this, where it will kind of stick to your fingers and that. So just try them in between. And he is a happy fella. That's what I love about these guys. They're so spunky. But yeah, if you guys are in or around, again, the specifically Cleveland, Strongsville, Ohio area, it's about 7.5, 8 minutes away from where this location is to Something Fishy. Again, not being paid for by or sponsored by. It's just, as I always preach, is, you know, I support people first and foremost that legitimately have a passion for the hobby and are still a hobbyist at heart, rather than just individuals that just focus on money as a focal point. You know, if that's the focus, if that's the focal point, I don't care if you run a business or not. At the end of the day, yeah. So just my thoughts, but mail. Very nice looking. And it looks like I'm gonna have to actually upgrade to my big. Yep, I'm gonna have to get my big styro at some point this evening and upgrade to that. And I didn't realize how long we were going. I just looked at the clock, and I've been going for about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I am going to be wrapping things up here, because there's a couple more things I need to get done. And if, you know, usually this is a type of thing, even pretty much late hours where people are still up chit-chatting. I would imagine if I walked out into the hall right now, there probably is still room sales and that going on, even though technically it's quiet hours. But yeah, so, and then with the hospitality suite, which is down on the main floor. So I do want to still say and go chit chat for a few minutes and then come back here and finish this stuff up. But I think you guys get the point. I wanted to just bring you guys a video, be able to chit chat with you guys. I know that the video from earlier It was leggy. I get it. It's at the end of the day, you know, this is what I enjoy to do. If somebody else enjoys putting out edited content, then do your thing. For me, at the end of the day, I'm not just gonna put out content if I don't enjoy to do it. And whether if it's leggy or not, is that's on me. In that sense, I understand the risks that go along with it, but the main thing is getting the information out there and seeing for yourself. So, you know, the main thing is when I do things like that is to get the awareness out there to people that, hey, come and check out somebody who's legit, somebody who cares about the hobby, something like that, rather than just seeing the fish itself. I get it. I mean, people want the interaction there. They want to see what the species looks like, but it's kind of a moot point if you're not even, you know, if he's not shipping the fish, you can just go online and type in Google or whatever it is, utilize social media from that standpoint to get a somewhat of an understanding of what the fish looks like, and then do your research from there. So I always play kind of like, not really devil's advocate in that sense, but you know, I know some people always say that I have an answer for everything, and really, it's true. I'm always going to have something to come back with something. That's just the way that I operate at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, from being on the platform for about, well, I started legit putting out content in 2016, but been around since like 2015, something like that, on YouTube, as far as like the fish keeping community. And you just have to learn to accept things at the end of the day, and that goes two-way street. So if people don't enjoy the content, I really honestly don't care at the end of the day. If you do enjoy it, then you know, I respect that and I appreciate it. But again, I don't go to other people's channels and, you know, sit there and not, because I can guarantee I can find a flaw in every single bit of content. Doesn't matter. There's always going to be a slight flaw. Yeah, so anyway, another rant, kind of out of the way. It wasn't really a rant, but I'm tired. At this point, I'm just rambling. I'm going to wrap things up here, get back to it. I need to get a bigger cooler. Bit disappointed here with these guys. I can tell that they definitely have warmed up, but unfortunately, I think it's pretty much capped itself out where it's at. They should be much warmer than that. It's been probably like 3.5 hours now. All right. Let's see here. So let me flip you guys around. So I can be a bit more formal in my closing out. All right. I know a little bit about it. Anybody that knows me on a personal basis, yes, I don't just talk the talk. I mean, that's what it is. It's weird now because anyway, I'm looking at the camera. But, yeah, I mean, I've honestly have done a lot of various things through my life. Yeah, so with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you hanging out. We are at the hour and 45-minute mark. We do have the community that has been now enabled. So I did So make sure your notifications are on there if you want more. So the community is actually more geared towards, real quick, and I'm going to end on this note. So the community setting, if you guys have been on YouTube or associated with other channels from that standpoint, you'll notice that people utilize community. Community, hence the name community, is really supposed to be there for sharing other community type content, not just sharing your own content. So just anticipate and expect the community is going to be solely focused on me sharing content out there that I want to share. So that does not mean that I'm going to be accepting people just sending me messages and emails, hey, can you put me on your, no, that's not how it works. I can guarantee you, if somebody sent me an email or asked me, will you put me in your community, that's an automatic no from me. That's just not the way things work. There's etiquette that goes along with YouTube, and that's just one of those things. It's like, no, no, no. So just know, I do plan on using the community. I'm excited to use it, and if there is anything there that I feel will bring, whether if it's whatever type of value that I feel it may bring, then you guys can check it out. And if you don't want to, that's completely fine too. So I will try to use that because it doesn't take too long to do. It's very streamlined, very straightforward, and we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, so with that being said, you guys, as always, stay encouraged, keep on keeping on, happy fishing, and I'll talk to you guys right back here on the next one.